Good. We're good. We're good now. We're live. Okay. I will open up this meeting of the Maynard Planning Board. Today's date is October 8th, 2024, and the time is 7:01 p.m. All members of the planning board are present here in Town Hall. This meeting is being held in hybrid format, which means members of the public, applicants and planning board members could participate here locally in Town Hall or virtually through the Zoom link. Please note this meeting is being recorded. Let's open up the public hearing, the continuance from the public hearing for the Green Meadow Elementary School. This was, it says on here that it was continued from August 6th, but I believe the last continuance was
Last week,
September 24th.
yeah, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys, for coming back. Bill, do you want to give us a status update?
Sure. Last week, or last meeting, you're out as chair, and so, we went over the, list of comments from the town peer reviewer. And we, worked our way through all the items pretty much and narrowed it down to, there were 2 pending items that the board had asked to be peer reviewed prior to, resubmittal. One was the drop-off area where there was a question of bollard placement and, adequate space for ADA, drop off. And so that's going to be discussed by the applicant and the peer reviewer has weighed in on it. And the second item was on the revised photometrics and lighting plans on the a couple of portions of the site, which also the peer reviewer has commented on this and will address. There are a couple of conditions that were discussed. The most notable condition that was agreed to was the issue of tree replacement became, when you were out, it's where it had been an issue about what the ratio would be. This board has typically gone on a 1-for-1 replacement board and a 1-to-1 replacement policy. And the school building committee agreed to do that. So the caveat is that the number of trees will not be reduced. However, they may not be placed necessarily in the same location, and they will be used on school property, not on town property, but there will be no net loss of trees. So that was agreed to. And I think with that, Chris LeBlanc will be discussing this on behalf of the project. Our peer reviewer, Jim Thorne, I think is back. Does it sound to me? Again, it's not, but he has sent his notes ahead. And he, I forwarded that to all of you, that they're satisfied with those. And with that, I will turn it over to Chris. If you're ready to, Chris can share his screen. He has revised plans, which were just, they had a printer problem. I did set a couple of sets over there. But Chris will walk you through it, and with that,
As long as we can also bring it up on the screen.
we will bring it up on
for
the
public
screen.
record.
Yeah,
And then-
Chris says can they.
And then if you could be ready to share the draft conditions on the
Yes.
screen so we can look at those. as well.
Yes.
Thanks.
All right. So my understanding, as of today, is the peer reviewer reviewed all of the latest comments, has signed off on and approved them. His comments have been then updated. A couple of things I wanted to discuss with you today are some of the key items that were brought up by the board throughout our process. So zoning criteria, we pretty much have complied with setbacks and things of that nature, building compliance. The 1-to-1 tree replacement that the board requested, we've done a final count of about 195 trees were being removed. Of the 195, we now have an updated landscape plan, which I will share with you, showing 185 trees planned for the Green Meadow site, which would leave 10 new trees be planted on the campus. So we will work with, the district to find locations at the middle school, high school, et cetera, that make sense to plant the additional 10 trees. The revised detention area shape I'll show with you as well. Comment came up, the shape was rather just squared. Board asked if we could kind of adjust that shape a little bit to make it a little bit more visually pleasing. So we've done that. We've also added some landscape around there to help address that situation, which I will share with you as well. Another comment or suggestion was trailhead illumination. So we did talk with Justin DeMarco, the DPW director, and Chief Noble, Mayor Police Department. Both indicated that while they're not illuminated right now, they don't recommend providing illumination of the trailheads. So we will not proceed with that. They felt that it would just create other issues that the town would have to deal with. Another item was tree species biodiversity. Our landscape architect, Lynn from Studio 2112, was on the last meeting and did indicate that the plan is to be very biodiverse with the new plantings for sustainability and future growth, et cetera. So that has been adjusted. We understand that there may be somebody that wants to also participate in reviewing those species as well. And then one of the other comments was dark sky compliant lighting. We did submit the catalog cuts at one of the previous early meetings, indicating that all of the site lighting will be dark sky compliant. I do have cuts I can share with you, and it does note that they do meet those requirements. Okay, if I scroll down. So one of the items from the last meeting was to remove the pre-K parking label in the parking area to the northwest of the building. It is a general parking area. It will be up to the district to determine how they want to use it. It's very flexible. So if they determine that certain uses during certain period of times needs traffic flow, drop offs, et cetera, we will work with them on that process as we go forward. Okay. Another comment last meeting was the two walks that come up from the drive and the parking at the northwest were to be swapped or switched, providing the 8.5 foot wide sidewalk along the drive for pedestrians, cyclists, and walkers. And then the narrow one, which is 6.5 feet, which will be located along the parking for those who are exiting their vehicles. They have a place to exit onto the sidewalk and then traverse towards the building. Another key item and point of discussion was the parent drop off. So we were asked to go from 12 feet, increase it by at least 4 feet on the passenger side for better availability and egress of vehicles or people with maybe some mobility issues on the passenger side in a safe manner. We have done that. This result, and I'll try to zoom in here, is a result of the peer reviewers' comments. So we initially talked about removing some of the bollards in the intermediate. The final discussion is to make the space between the bollards 16.5 feet. So average car about 8 feet wide provides another 8+ feet for vehicles to have passenger egress on either side. We've identified that with a walkway. Tactical warning strips, which are required for handicap accessibility on level areas that would identify, say, walkways to drive access. So we've got those along both sides for people to be identified as to what's a walkway. And then we have bollard spacing 4 feet between each one. So it still provides protection to the pedestrians, but allows for ease of access for those with mobility issues or those that may be crossing from this southeast parking across the crosswalk to the pedestrian area and building access. So that was discussed and reviewed with the peer reviewer. These are some of the recommendations he made, and thus we followed through with updates to the plans. And then we have,
the bollard?
I'm sorry?
How wide are the bollards?
The bollards are about 1 foot. They're decorative, so they're typically a concrete steel encased post, and then we have a decorative sleeve that goes over them. So the spacing between them is 4 feet. The bollards themselves are about 1 foot in diameter at the widest at the base.
When you say spacing between, that's face to face, or is that center to center?
That is space between, there's space between the bollards. Or,
Can you just go back one slide?
I'm sorry?
Can you go back one slide, please?
Yeah.
Whoops. What are those X's representing here? And the,
So that's, site furnishings
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all.
on the plaza area. Benches, tables, that kind of thing. Okay. The next, item that was discussed was, and we'll show you as part of the, updated photometrics, was adequate lighting at the main drive when coming off Great Road, and then the left that's taken towards the Fowler. There is an existing, utility pole with a light on it that will be relocated to the corner to help illuminate this, and we also have, lights on the opposite side. Photometrics have indicated that there's ample lighting at the crosswalks. And then to the left of that is the drive that comes from the new Green Meadow School and meets the drive towards Fowler School. We do have lights planned for each side, and again, the photometrics indicate that we're adequately lighting the crosswalk area. And then I believe this is the last slide for this portion. This is the updated detention area where we're coming in from Great Road to Tiger Drive, and it peels off towards Fowler. This at the early stages was more of a rectangular shape. At the request and suggestions of members of the board, we've kind of softened it, making it a little bit more oval. The gates are towards the drive down here for access and cleaning and mowing the area. And then our landscape architect has kind of softened the area as well with various trees, deciduous and pines. So to kind of enhance that area, make it much more pleasing as you come into the site. But it does still leave areas for snow removal, et cetera.
On this, which way is north? On what?
North would be planned right. But rotated is just ease and enlargement. Okay, and those are kind of the highlighted topics from the last couple of meetings. We can share the updated plans that were shared with Green International. And as you can see, everything has been updated to the lower southeast portion, the parent drop off. With the bollards, the additional walkways. As we come into the drive that meets back out. I'll take you back to the parking area at the northeast where we remove the label for pre-K parking. Again, we have adequate lighting, the sidewalks have been switched to accommodate the wider one along the access drive. This shows the main entrance from Tiger Drive, the updated detention area. There's a relocated utility pole in this corner with lighting on the opposite side as well to illuminate the crosswalks. And the crosswalks down where the main sidewalk kind of crosses over towards the northeast or northwest parking. And the pre-K is also well illuminated. And then that return drive that goes to Tiger Drive and then towards the Fowler Middle School, again, the crosswalks and lights have been updated to be well illuminated. Any questions on that?
Questions from the board?
Yeah.
This will give you an example of the additional trees that were planted since the last meeting to get us to 185. You can see they were spread out around the site. So we're providing some pines down to screen some of the parking around each of the detention areas. Kind of some shade areas along the access drive to the school near the basketball court and the main drive. And the remaining 10, as I mentioned, will be worked out with the district as to where we should plant them on the Fowler and high school campus areas.
presume the green trees are the new ones? the additions?
Those are the new ones to get us to the 185, yes.
Okay.
Okay. And then I can open up the photometrics if you want to, see the updated ones. Just get them all open for you. The numbers are rather hard to see. But I know Jim Thorne's comments over at Green International did indicate that they reviewed them.
Yes, and I forwarded those to the board. So along with the revised plan survey list.
So this updated photometric plan has been reviewed, peer reviewed.
Correct. And the,
Any comments?
so, right,
There are no comments remain.
no, they're satisfied with the responses to both issues of the photometric lighting and of the, parent drop off with the ADA bollards area.
I don't need to see the details of the photometrics unless any board members wants to view that.
So that's what we have, indicating we've met all the peer reviewer comments as well as the board's recommendation succession.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Well,
Thank you.
any questions?
I'll open this up to public comment now. If there are members online that wish to enter a public comment, please use the raise hand feature. Or turn on your video camera and just raise your hand and we'll call on you. For members in the room, if you care to make a public comment, please just raise your hand. Bill, would you mind checking to see if there's any raised hands?
Don't see any. No raised hands online.
Okay. Any final questions or comments from the board? Okay, Bill, can you open up the draft decision and just review the conditions that were discussed?
Can you stop the share, please,
Right.
Chris? Stop the share. So I have draft conditions that the board asked me to draft and a draft decision for the request today.
Bill, when did that stuff get posted? Wasn't that this morning?
Just now, we just got it. These are the plans, the new plans.
Sorry, Bill, I think you need to go back to the web browser.
Okay.
And in the top right, you see there's like a blue arrow pointing downward.
Yeah.
Click on that and then open up that document.
Oh. So, you know what? Okay. All right, now we're gonna share it, if that's the right one. Come on. Let's share this so we can see it. Oh. So, this is just the decision, so, this is the vote that would be required, and here's the conditions as of now. That we have. Just a reminder to the board that. This is a different type of site plan, review in that. It is conducted under, section 3 of. Chapter 48, governing zoning limitations for educational institutions, and that's the reason for the truncated. Review in some cases. So,
If under the first condition, there shall be no net loss of trees. Any tree shall be replaced. Do we want to say within 3 years of CO? Just to get a time frame on it.
the board like that,
Does that sound reasonable?
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, it's 3 years, so Gentry's 3 years, I feel like that's reasonable.
Yeah.
We need to specify it's on school property.
It doesn't say that, yeah, and it should say within the MVS campus essentially.
Is there a process that strictly required to ensure that they're viable, so you they like, oh, die after the first 6 months, you gotta replace them, or how's that work?
The conditions we've had for other special permits were that, trees need to be maintained because they're on the landscape plan. I don't know how to proceed, it's from a maintenance standpoint, so like the O and M plan would cover that, not the condition, so I wouldn't. Been letting pass.
Typically in the landscape specs, the landscape architect will require that the landscape subcontractor waters lawn and planting areas. So they develop full maturity. And then the landscape architect will do an inspection, bless them, and then it's kind of owners.
So it has a sign off essentially. So I basically a handover,
Right.
and that's contractual with the town.
Yep.
And these entries would be part of that too, you think, or? would it
That's the
just be-
idea, yeah, we're gonna make it part of the bid docs, yeah.
Okay, okay. So all that would be under the general maintenance and turnover for
For the
regular project.
Yeah.
Assets,
Yes,
we think of that.
Wow, you get a lot of work for the contractor, it's
It's
takes
difficult.
the trees every few weeks to water them, but okay.
It's difficult.
So does that read for you guys? Okay.
Does this require a parking waiver or not?
If we decided to not, right?
Yeah, I don't believe so, because we technically don't have an auditorium,
Right, because the auditorium came out, we were thinking all of that.
and we are.
That's whatever the building commissioner says, right, so
Yeah, let me see.
if he's fine with it, that's fine.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking,
While Bill looks at that, any other comments on these conditions?
Oh, we did discuss it on our meeting of the 10th, we discussed that we may need a waiver for the parking numbers, and we're going to check based on the auditorium, and then the auditorium. Because it was originally listed as
It's a cafetorium.
right, auditorium, that was.
Whereas an auditorium typically would have fixed seating for a specific number of people.
Wait, there's a designation as cafetorium,
I'm sorry?
there's a cafetorium designation?
Oh, I went to elementary school with a cafegimatorium.
No, but it's,
So cafetorium, gymatorium, so it's a flexible combination use space.
but that's in the code,
Yeah,
cafetoriums and building code?
I believe there's a term for that.
Okay.
Well, I think we should tidy that up though, real quick, is there,
Cafetorium is in the building code?
I think Dr. Cam about it. On the civils, what do we? I thought we went over this, but I don't see that it was resolved.
Are you still talking about parking waiver?
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about it like that.
Does it hurt if we throw one in?
No, I would just throw generic, because it's the planning board's purview on that, is it? Just say, oh, there's, Cam, do you have that count, handy?
Parking spaces?
Yeah, yeah, and we had a conversation about the cafetorium and,
Right. I think there's
Oh, okay.
yeah.
186.
I believe there's 136 spaces. Sorry, I was having a hard time hearing you guys. It's a little jumbled, but we can pull that up. It's on our C 00 overall site plan.
He's there, I'll give it to you, give it back to you. I mean, Chris.
Yeah, I mean,
so X at the top.
126 spaces.
new,
Oh, you're still co-host, okay. So you're good to go.
and
Correct.
it is 86 Pro Park spaces.
So the count is technically increasing from what the existing conditions are.
Yeah, we're not concerned about parking, we just want to make sure that the decision is cohesive, so. Bill, it sounds like an abundance of caution, we should add a waiver condition.
Okay. So could you run by the counts again?
126
New.
new. And 86 existing full park spaces.
Yeah, what would be the total count that's required on that? What was total?
The total between those two or the total required?
We don't-
Total
we don't
required
really
is
know.
unclear, so.
Yeah,
We just say something like. 100 what is it,
126
126 is
adequate.
the
for
waiver
the-
amount?
yeah, if we say, if we identify that as to 126.
Yeah, I say leave the 86 behind, because
It's not on the same.
Right. So if we say a waiver is granted for 126 new parking spaces on the school property. Okay. That's safe, sorry. Okay, so back to the,
you gotta share it again.
all right. Yeah, the tree species we discussed. When Julie was here last time, but the board was comfortable having OMS conservation ensure, verify the biodiversity of the species. And then the last is Star Trek plans, we've already kind of cleared up, probably don't.
Any questions on the conditions? Any questions from you guys on the conditions, any feedback?
No.
No.
Okay,
Do you want to close public hearing to this?
we will in a second.
Okay.
Any additional information to add before we close the public hearing?
No, I think we're good.
I mean, I guess one thing I'll add, we added a alternative construction temporary access drive to the construction zone. To avoid disruption to the Crow parking lot and parent drop off pickup. That's not shown on the permanent site plan that you guys can review. Because the idea is that's in place for construction and then it goes back to lawns
Understood.
when it's done.
Thank you,
Yeah.
for that. I don't think that's part of planning board purview though. Since we're only looking at final site
Yeah.
conditions, right? As I understand that, Bill?
Yes, and I did forward that, you all have a copy of that.
The awareness is great, thanks.
But thank you.
Yes. But that's not part of this,
No.
hearing. Anything else? Anything else on the board? I'll make a motion to close the hearing.
I'll second that.
All in favor to close the hearing, please raise your hand. It's 5-0 to close the hearing. Bill, what is, so first, any additional discussion from planning board on this item? Bill, what is the motion for the site plan review?
The motion for site plan review to, that the proposed site plan dated, what was the new date? We're gonna have it in the new date in there.
918.
That's September 18th.
So the, okay, September 18th.
Right, that can't be. I made edits since. Okay,
But that's the final revision date as well, right?
Yes, it is.
Except,
well,
have,
actually, the revision date is
Oh, what's that?
today or something, right?
No, there isn't that.
I'm not following you there.
that date is before our last meeting, and I know. the
Date,
changes
let me
have
get
been-
that for you, Bill.
Yeah, all right, yeah.
I got October 2nd on this one.
Revision date?
That just has, it doesn't,
Final revision date.
it just has one date, so.
Looks like there's a revision at the top of the chart.
Yeah, that just says, September 18th. And the date, the new date on this
This is supposed to be the original date here, that's what it is, the original date, and then the final revision date I had is September 18th.
Well, let's just make sure we get that correct when we.
Cause that's gonna be October.
Print it. I don't know that we. Need to.
Okay, that's for your regular. The original page was.
You wanna ask Karen?
I can update it in the title block to be for today because
Yeah.
the last set of revisions were today sent out to Jim, so.
So I can catch that up today, I can catch that up later,
October 8th.
October 8th, okay, we'll set it October 8th then, for the latest date, Cam?
Correct.
And then I just get, what was, and whatever the original date was, I'll just pop in, or you can send it to me.
Okay, I think I can make this motion, so, I'll make a motion that the planning board finds. That the site plan review. With the original date of March 23rd and the final revision date of October 8th, 2024. As presented and discussed today and in previous hearings. Is consistent with the Maynard Protection zoning bylaws. And chapter 48, section 3 of the zoning act of the Commonwealth. And with the included conditions as shown on the screen here, the three conditions, four conditions. First is, trees shall be replanted. Second, tree species shall be approved by OMS Conservation. Third is all lighting will be dark sky compliant, and fourth, we will be the parking waiver as discussed in the hearing. And that's the motion.
I will second that motion.
All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. It's 5-0 for approval of the motion.
Okay, thank you.
And that's it.
Thanks,
Thank you guys,
Thank you,
appreciate
guys.
it.
Oh, I need
Thank
to
you.
adjourn. No. Adjourn.
Yeah, the hearing's
We
closed.
closed the hearing.
Right,
So we're good. Right?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm not Jim, I don't know.
just for clarification, since I have everybody here, is it okay for, I can, stamp the, decision?
Yes,
To those that joined online, thank you for your time on this public hearing. The town of Natick greatly appreciates it, and thank you for your time, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. Thank you. All right.
Let's, Bill, do you need a minute? Or can I open up the next item?
No, I think we can go to the next one, I think.
Okay.
Okay, nice.
Good?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is up to here now.
I will open up the public hearing for 52 Main Street. This is an application by. I'm terribly sorry, sir. Is it Sanchez?
Jane,
Cheng,
yes,
and your last name is Sevik?
Jane,
Chevik?
yes,
Okay, Cheng Chevik. Did I
Yes.
get that good? Okay,
yes,
thank you. From what's known as Maynard Pie Incorporated.
yes.
This is a continuance from, it says here, August 27th, 2024. Thanks again for coming in. Bill, do you want to start us off with a
Yeah.
primary and a status
Just get
update,
my
please?
notes here. Yeah, this is a request for a fast food special permit. Located at 7880 Main Street for a fast food restaurant. It's a pre-existing non-conforming structure. The applicant is requesting special permit approval. Sorry, beg your pardon, wrong one. Special permit approval to operate a fast food restaurant, 52 Main Street. Sure, Earth doesn't want a fast food restaurant. This does not include a drive-through. The applicant is in the downtown overlay district. This is for a fast food special permit. The board we had a meeting private. I think about, we had two meetings. We've gone through some reiterations. The applicant has some proposals to make on the aesthetics and regarding the DoD criteria. So the applicant has a PowerPoint, and if the board would like, I'll turn it over to, Saint to, for
Okay.
and I can change it as you want, if you want,
Thank you so
or you can advance it if you want.
You can, no problem.
Okay.
All right, the last meeting, the board has like the 5 main concern for the pedestrian and I just make the update all of them for the, on the site plan. The first one is the narrowing the driveway. We decided to put the big planter on the driveway to make it narrow. And at the same time, it's like the main center and make it looks nicer. And also, we have the, like the gate, the entering and the exiting. There's also like the poles, like the driveway is already narrow, but I would like to put to like the planter front of it. The reason in the winter time, if the planters move or something like, you know, some reason like go down or anything, and we can still have the like the narrow driveway for the safety. And the second one, the lighting.
Change?
Yes, for the parking lot, main concern was like the for pedestrian and for the park, like the people who come to for pick up the parking space. Is the lighting was not good over there, and we decided to put like the total 4 lights. 2 in the back, covering all the back side of the parking lot, and then 1 on the right side, 1 on the left side. And additional of this, we are going to have like the Domino's sign in the front, which is going to reflect all the lights in the sidewalk if the pedestrians are walking. And other than this, if you jump to the next one, it's gonna show these are the like the lights. We are gonna put it 2 in the back, 1 on the right side, 1 on the left side. And additional, can you scroll down a little bit, please?
To the next slide.
Yes. And we are, yes, we are going to have the Domino's sign. It's going to reflect the light in the front, exactly the sidewalk, which is going to be better for the main center. And additional, we currently has like the street light, as we can see, but they are pretty old, probably like over 10 years. We are going to replace them as a brand new to make it the better look. And next one. The handicap parking lot for the last meeting, we had the problem for that because we did not have the additional space for the handicap parking, which is supposed to be 9-inch for the parking lot plus additional for the 5 feet for the pedestrian, and which we did it and on the plan, and I'm going to make the line how it's on the plan. Also, there was one recommendation for the next slide for the dumpster. I am right now like working on this. These are the only example. How we are gonna do it. I'm working with right now the dumpster company how big space they needed for truck to be able to pick up the dumpster. And also my contractor is made inform me to like the measurement and everything to make something nice on the parking lot. And next one, for pedestrian safety, the board recommended to me like if you put the speed bump in the entering and exiting, that will help the drivers are getting in and out slower. And additional for this, I will definitely do this. And additional, we already, I don't know if you guys ever been around that area. Entering is already transition from the speed and the sidewalk to like the floor. It's already like a big bump. And additionally, we are gonna put also 1 more speed bump in the entering to make it like as slow as possible for the drivers, for the pedestrian. And next one, the store operation hours. Those definitely for based on the board, based on the town's bylaw, whatever they require, definitely we are going to follow that. But this is only like, you know, if it's the town allow, we would like to be open like the 10:30 AM to like the 11, Sunday to Thursday, only Fridays and Saturday, if it's possible, for the midnight. These are the special, like the touch base, like from the last meetings. That's all. You have any question?
Thank you. Bill, do you have anything to add or clarify?
No, the board asked me to check on, at the last meeting about hours. And if there were, liquor store hours. and you know, how any hours that were, in the bylaws and anything was only permit specific. McDonald's, I think, would be the closest. I think they're at midnight, I believe, on the weekend. We had, everything was addressed, the board wanted, as the last meeting, the board wanted to talk about public sidewalk lighting, the ADA spot, which we discussed, speed bump we discussed. I think that is everything that we have, we had. Let's see, about the concerns were narrowing of the driveway with planters, et cetera. Public realm interaction with the sidewalk. And screening a dumpster, which was taken care of. I had one question, I have a note here, and if I could ask.
Yeah, of course.
The general number, based on your Acton store, how many deliveries with the receipts? You brought it in last time, I don't remember what it was, but
It's like the all like depends on the day.
in general, what's the
General, like, I would say like in a day. 20 per hour, like the 2 delivery,
2 deliveries an hour?
approximately, yeah, for the rush hour, let's say like. 3 delivery, 3 to 4 delivery, between 5 to 8.
Okay.
And even though like I can say. We can ask the bill, like he came a couple weeks ago as a customer, and in the rush hours, it's just like, you know, you cannot see at the same time, like. I don't see more than 2 customers, except the Friday.
That's all the notes I have on this. And then we're gonna discuss the.
If we, I just wanna add something, if we are gonna be in like the downtown, like the. Hamway, right, like the college has it, it's gonna be like extremely way different than these numbers. All like the suburb area, the Acton, Maynard, or Sudbury, and these areas are usually like, you know, based lower than. And the college area.
Any questions or comments from the board?
I get comments on every side.
Okay, maybe let's just take it one at a time, or should we have subject matter? Should we start? Start with the subject,
Sure.
start with where you want.
I think start with the sidewalk lighting and the sign, because this is the first I heard, I mean, the signs can be bright enough to light up the sidewalk is what I just heard, and.
No, I was trying to say that we are gonna have this, the light, I mean, the sign, it's gonna have a light. That's gonna automatically reflect on the right front of the sidewalk, and at the same time, we are going to have like. Total currently have it, the old. The one more down. Yes, this is the one, you can see over there, like one on the right, one on the left, and also one on the pool, total 3 light on it, exactly on the sidewalk. Right front of the store.
The Domino's sign isn't lit up, is it?
No, it is going to be by the law, and they already applied it for permit based on the town, like. However that they want it, they will make it that way,
Okay,
it's not done yet anything for the sign,
It can't be internally, it'll have to be.
not the internal, that's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
it's gonna
yeah.
reflect from outside, like the sign,
okay.
and that way.
I believe we call that backlit. Do I have that correct?
No, it's not going to be that.
It's not gonna be backlit, it's gonna be,
Yeah, this will be, there's. They'll have to, whatever, ultimately they come up with, Rick's working with them, I don't know.
so this.
Without, let's put it this way, there's no deviation from the zoning bylaws without a planning board special permit for this. So it's,
And your intent is just to meet the sign and lighting requirements. And so that we don't need a special.
there's no option without a special permit.
Well, my concern on the lighting of the. Lighting of the sidewalk at the driveways. I've just never seen those existing lights on to know if it's enough light or not.
Because they are, none of them is working. The previous people, I think like my electrician just connect them. They said like for some reason they take them out, it was not working, I already ordered a brand new one. I connect the light and everything, it's going to definitely be like a working light in the sidewalk.
The 2 lights shown, those sconces. Those are the ones we're discussing that is lighting the sidewalk?
Yes, there is
Pole light
2
there.
of them, and the plus there is like a pole, total 3, and the pole has like a 3 light on it.
Mhm.
The other ones are on the like the wall, 2 of them.
And the ones And the single ones, are those meant to also illuminate the driveway aisles?
What do you mean by that?
For the vehicles coming in and out of the parking lot, are those lights meant to illuminate where they come in and out of the parking lot?
That's gonna only like the, need for the, like the entering. But on the where the driveway already has like the, the light one, if you go to one app. That's specifically, I wanted to make sure to put the lights.
Yeah.
If you can see like the right here one, and where the arrow shows, these are on the back side, it's gonna reflect on the back parking lot, those are in the. This one on the right side and where the entering, and the top one is the where the exit. The light is gonna make sure to like the all over the around, there's enough light to see around.
This strikes me as something that would need to be double checked in the future to make sure it's adequate enough, since we don't know now.
When we did 31 Main Street. We did a double back after they installed the lights that, with sconces. I mean, we put a condition.
Yeah, I'm thinking something like that, yeah.
There may be a condition to check back in after a certain period of time to make sure that the lighting is adequate.
I mean, I think one thing that would be helpful for, everybody would be, the purpose of the lighting the board is trying to illuminate sidewalk to a level where it's solid, from all the new, any new structures or new businesses where there's a level of illumination that provides a level of comfort. And they've tried on all the projects that we've done, basically from property to property. And so that's what the board's concerned about here. They may have additional concerns in the parking lot itself, but am I right, board?
Yeah, and this one's just insinuated just because we want to make sure the pedestrians are visible when they cross the driveway.
Yes,
It
yes,
looks
so,
like the face of the building's fine and lit,
Right.
and you can find a door.
Right.
But.
but the goal is to have a level of comfort for everybody.
definitely, yeah.
Right, we had a couple of the businesses that we've worked on, we've had to, make a little adjustment here and there for the lights, so.
Yeah, definitely, yeah, if something like you needed extra or like it's too much, like you take it out, definitely I'm open to.
People like that,
Yeah.
people have enjoyed that downtown.
I mean, we have two options. Either we have a lighting plan that shows the proper luminosity. Or we have town staff essentially check to make sure that it's safe and compliant.
Yeah, I mean, we
Those are the, and it sounds like we're going for option two. To check after, just to ensure we can condition it and ensure that the sidewalk is safe and compliant.
Yeah, and it's that there's a consistent level of lighting, that's not, that's, I think that was relatively simple.
You can keep going.
Yeah, Bill, can you bring up the site plan file from
Yeah.
the agenda? It'll be easier to talk about the rest of the night.
Give me a minute.
That's it, so.
Yes.
There you go.
So. Can't believe this comes up so much, but regarding the handicap accessible spot. It's not of the correct dimensions. Can you zoom in on the dimension?
In the bottom left corner.
Oh, yeah.
You got 9 foot space and a 5 foot aisle. But of course, the first handicap accessible space has to be van accessible,
What do you know the dimensions at the top of your head?
8 and 8.
It has to be compliant, so.
Yeah, what was it, Bill? 8 and 8?
8 and 8. 8 foot car space and an 8 foot right there right next to it.
And that's also just not a planning board item, that's just general compliance with state law.
So what is the? I think that the parking spaces will have to be rejiggered to allow for a full 16-foot wide ADA spot. 8 foot for the vehicle spot and 8 feet for the hatched area next to it.
Yes, right, so we're talking about rather than 5. Yeah, we've got
It's supposed to be what, 8 and 8?
8 foot and 8 foot, so total 16 feet here.
Every 9 and
Well, yeah, right, and then this guy would be okay where it is? The 9 foot?
yeah, but I mean, you're gonna lose one of those spaces in the back probably.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
does that matter? I don't know what the required parking is and. I think they're okay, right?
Yeah.
there,
Isn't it like 1 per 500
yeah, it was,
DOT, right?
Yeah.
So they're probably still okay, but it looks like they'll lose stretch space.
Yeah, no problem, like, we can roughly whatever the requirement is, like, better to do it that way, so I'd rather lose the parking spot.
Yeah, you have to, it's just,
Yeah.
it's state law.
No,
So-
just, I'm surprised to be honest.
Yeah.
The architecture, how they missed at this point, because I didn't know what, like,
And, I mean, unless there's something we're missing, like, we're always open to, we could be wrong. We're always open to that, but we're pretty sure that we're correct on that, so you should double, your site engineer should double check.
okay, definitely.
And then while we're on this zoomed in view, it's actually not a question, I think it was presented, but. Question, what's going on with the property line? Does this have an easement into the adjacent properties for the parking footprint?
Which side?
So if you look on the bottom, Bill, can you just circle where where it says property line?
yes,
Yes,
Yeah.
so it looks like the parking spaces go into the next property. Is that just an error of the figure or?
It's just like error, like it doesn't go over there, it's gonna be all the way line, because there is already like, there's a fence, even if I want, it cannot go.
put it fence on.
Yeah, there's a fence like between the other property, like the house.
Yeah. This looks like this is a shot from the property assessors right now, which is. Miss Julia will tell you, she's working diligently to correct, but the property assessors lines are need to be adjusted to be more accurate.
I would have your architect, when it's for this final submittal to planning board, we need to show items that are correct. So I would just make sure that that is correct. Right.
Definitely, that's it tomorrow,
So, and you want to ensure that the boundary is confirmed.
or like the passing other.
And then related to easements. It says some sort of pathway easement down to River Street. Can you explain that? Whose property has that? Saw it on the deed.
This
Yeah, the property has an easement, I guess,
Oh,
through
I
the
don't-
adjacent parking lot down to River Street. And I'm just trying to figure out, is it a vehicular pathway easement, is it a pedestrian pathway easement? And where is it?
easement to River Street?
Correct, it's on the deed,
Oh.
goes back to the 20s, so, you know. It's pretty old.
Oh.
But there's a gate there in the corner of that property that people use to travel through that property up to Main Street.
Where the arrow is,
Where's the arrow? No, other side.
by the dumpster.
By the
By
dumpster.
the dumpster. There's a gate right now by the dumpster that's used. And people walk through there, so what's happening with that and? Does it have to stay open? I don't know if the easement is for this property through another property or the easements for others to go through this property.
Well, where we are going to put to like the dumpster, there is a gate like the pretty big, it doesn't affect the like, the people are passing through. I don't know if
So
you,
the current opening in the fence, you're gonna leave there so people can go to and from?
I'm not gonna even touch anything on the fence, I'm gonna, when I put the dumpster over there, there's gonna be pretty much like the. Oh, like even though right now, there is a like a huge big dumpster for the over there because of the construction. And people still like the passing through easily for the huge dumpster. But we are gonna put like the 3 times smaller than that dumpster, we are gonna put it over there, is way easier than the. Right,
And even with the dumpster corral that you
Yeah.
showed,
yeah.
there
yeah,
will still be space.
Yes,
Alright, back to the issues that were presented in the, speed bump. Did an engineer do this plan? Cause I'm seeing that speed bump and it looks like it's at the edge of the sidewalk. But,
The sky bumps,
yeah, but that means the tires wouldn't hit it until the front end is well over the sidewalk. It's not really where
I
I
don't
go to speed
know
bump.
why they put it like that, but definitely we are gonna, there is a, like, the current gate. Like the opening and closing, we are going to put the right after the entering.
I mean, the concept of having a speed bump on the exit is good, I like it, but I just wanna make sure that ultimately it gets put in the.
This is just like, the example to show you guys how it's gonna be, we are gonna put it in the entering to make sure to the cars are slowed down because of the pedestrian. And definitely, it might be looks weird because closer to sidewalk, it's gonna be definitely inside the our property.
So it needs to be at the location that's shown on a plan and needs to be accurate. And right now it looks like it's in the sidewalk, and as I'm looking at this.
I think what the board is saying on this, as they identify these improvements. And, ultimately, they're gonna want a tidied up plan that would show exactly the position of it with dimensions. And you're gonna need to do it with the parking anyway as well. So it'd be worth getting just something professionally drawn up that has these, but the board's given you, their concerns like with the speed bump or with other stuff. The handicap spots, so they just want to label it and if it's like Bill's saying, we don't want to show speed bump.
Right,
the
sidewalk.
sidewalk,
Yeah.
right, so,
Because the sidewalk is public property,
Yeah.
so we can't show a speed bump there.
And the same thing on the other side, the entrance, I don't know where it would make the most sense. I'm not a traffic engineer, so I don't know where it would make sense to put one, but wherever it is.
I was kind of thinking the speed bump on the entrance is kind of redundant.
Right,
Cause I feel like it kind of ramps up to get to
Right.
the sidewalk and then for you to slow down and have that speed bump actually do anything, you're already on the sidewalk.
seems like you would almost want it toward the rear of the building for any blind spots. If you're gonna have one on that side.
Are you saying, if I'm hearing this, the entrance speed bump does nothing for public safety on the sidewalk?
Yeah, I
Right.
believe the sidewalk, there's like a curb apron or whatever you wanna call it.
It's a pretty
There's
big ramp up.
small, like 6-inch ramp that the car coming in has to go up to sidewalk level, so to put then a speed bump at the back side of the sidewalk, I don't think really does anything to improve anything because you're basically in the sidewalk already. It's not gonna stop anything that isn't already been hit.
What would be your best recommendation for me, to move the speed bump the closer to down, or do you want me to remove it?
I don't think you really need one on the, well,
That's what
it's
I
kind
went
of,
I went this morning to take some couple pictures, because the entering is the pretty high from entering and exiting.
yeah, I mean, I think the
Recommendation. I
intent
can update it.
of having those types of curb ramps is to sort of act as speed bumps. I'm just pulling up Google on this.
So what I'm hearing from the board, Bill Nemser, is that the planning board is not interested in requiring a speed bump on the entrance there.
right,
Now, if your architect engineer wants to tell us why it should be there, we will listen, but it doesn't sound like we think, we don't need to require that.
Okay, then I can remove it definitely. How about the exiting?
It sounds like the board feels the exiting can potentially help.
Yes,
It just needs to be located properly. And definitely away further back from sidewalk. I don't know how further back, your architect engineer should be thoughtful about where it should go.
Okay,
A comment too on the site plan, I think doing it on the GIS base map is a little problematic, as Bill pointed out, because it doesn't really show much like, for the property lines and things like that. And with, you know, where the speed bump would be on the sidewalk, and I think it should. It looks like it's drawn by an architect and not sort of the site engineer, and I'm not sure architects should be the ones drawing the site plans themselves, you know. Especially out of state stamped. Professional.
We'll continue with comments.
Yeah, I just have one more comment on the site plan and the pedestrian safety. Bill, can you pull that down a tiny bit? I wanna see next to that word stop. Here on the exit, I wanna see the exit. more
Other way.
There you go. So. I'm looking for something on the exit that will deflect the pedestrian movement as it approaches from the right on this. They're not seeing anything to deflect the pedestrians, so they're not obscured by the facade of the adjacent building. Because normally if you're gonna throw a planter or something there, so they have to step away from the facade, so they're more visible, but I'm not seeing anything there but paint. So the vehicle would go really close to the property line, which is undesirable, and the pedestrian could go really close to the building facade, which is undesirable.
Isn't there a gate also on that side?
Yes,
So there is a gate in front of that hatched area.
Oh, so the gate might, take care of the vehicle thing then.
The
Yes,
gate
There's a
will-
gate here.
All right.
yes.
Oh,
Entering and exiting
maybe
both like
maybe
the
they'll
gate.
keep the visibility then.
The gate will keep the vehicles from exiting right up against the adjacent building.
Exactly, yes.
And it might give enough view of the pedestrians approaching then.
What type of gate is it?
Like very old school from like the 20 years before. It's like there's like a 2 pole and like a big iron like opening and closing. I'm planning to like remove everything, just leave the like the 2 pole.
Is it like iron slat? Have you?
Yeah, it's like a
It's like a baller.
old cattle guard.
Oh, okay,
This place used to be like the 20 years ago bank.
got it.
I think like from that time.
By the way, it's 1 for 250 for retail on there, but with DOD anyway. So. Yes, about parking, yeah.
How big is it?
How many square feet is the interior?
And where is it?
Square feet in the interior?
Entire place?
Interior. Inside.
Less than 1,000 square feet, almost 1,000 square.
So 1,046 on the plan.
So 4 and a tiny bit?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll get 4 in the back.
Yeah. I was thinking
Down,
that,
down before that.
and the DOD, you know,
And as we've noted in other projects, you can take out the wall as part of the square footage, if you remember that,
Oh, there you go.
the wall thickness.
Really?
You don't remember that? I'll tell you about
I
that.
remember you blocked it.
All right, so
It was a lawyer, but even that.
I have an operational comment later, but nothing about this like layout.
I have a question about the accessible route. Looking at that, that's supposed to be handicap accessible.
Sorry, say again one more time.
The accessible route shown on the west side of the building where the arrows are on the path. This is the handicap accessible route.
Go down, Bill.
Uh,
From the parking spot along the side of the building to the
Yep.
front door.
just to like we didn't put anything special, like just a regular road.
Okay, that's showing as an accessible route, but there's actually a gas meter in the way.
But.
Is that gonna be a-
All the way inside, like all the way on the wall.
Okay. So is that, are there any requirements for grade or width or flat spots per 50 feet or
All of it.
all of that, right? Does there have to be any separation from traffic? Well, from traffic, I mean. Okay. But I mean, I think
You're right, that needs a.
the accessible routes have to be, I
That needs a
think,
double check. And the slope is the hardest.
the slope's hard, I think it has to be 5 feet. Is that encroaching? What's the width of the driveway in that area? is that encroaching too much on the width of that?
I think it has to be 5. And then, well, depends how long it is. But. Yeah, so I mean, I just. Needs to be double checked. I mean, those are not our rules. Those are federal rules, so.
I did make a mistake on the parking requirements. If we go to the DOD, the retail and restaurant. And this is an eat-in restaurant, so the board have to figure out, but a restaurant calls for 1 parking space for 85 feet of gross floor area. That's not fast food restaurant, that's a sit-down restaurant.
Yeah, that's not relevant.
Yeah.
Retail is 1 per 500, so. I don't know how.
So anything that doesn't match the DOD table goes back to the standard table, which you said was 1.
1
We're back to one, but yeah.
Yeah, it's-
They can get 4 spaces in back, they're just gonna lose 1.
Yeah.
It's. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Really, yeah, the handicap would have to be double checked, but I don't know how that's gonna happen.
That building commissioner, right?
Oh, yeah, I mean, does he look at the plans?
Doesn't the building commissioner need to essentially commission the new handicap spot?
Mhm.
And the accessible route?
Yeah.
So,
Well, I don't know about accessible route, but that's a good question. Responsive, I would imagine, I mean, in the end, to be in compliance,
so here's
you would
the,
have to match.
sir, so here's the challenge. Typically, we would like to see an engineer, a civil engineer provide the site plans. So that they are the engineer that has a license to confirm that the handicap spot is correct, that the accessible route is correct, that the stop location is correct, that the speed bump location is correct, and that the other items are compliant and correct. And I think we need to see that. I think we need to see a licensed civil engineer in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts being able to provide these things, because we don't have the authority to check to make sure that all those items are compliant, but we need to ensure compliance is there.
So typically, when we get this is a special permit. Because the improvements that are being done with the driveway, it falls over into site plan too. Sometimes, if there's no changes at all needed, you just get by with a survey or something, but in this case, there's changes that are significant and enough, and it's something that a professional engineer, now that you've got pretty much everything here, it should be a cakewalk for them. It shouldn't be that big of a deal. But I think the board wants the level of comfort, knowing that everything is, all the i's are dotted and the t's are crossed with an engineer doing it. With a property issue, the property boundary that wants to be, we could have confirmed. There's if there's a question of easements or positioning of the improvements, like the stops and everything, that should all be done. What we can do, what I would recommend is if the board opts to continue this, so you can prepare that, we can go over and I can make sure that I speak to the board and provide any specific input that would be on the plan that would be identified. I think that'll make it much easier for you and a very relatively easy lift with the things considered. Is that fair, board?
That's fair, if you could work offline with the applicant, I think that's the best way to handle this one.
That would be great, thank you.
Okay,
And then we could also, the board could also, perhaps we get, you can even experiment with the lighting. We don't even have to do, when you put your outdoor lighting.
Yeah.
But,
so let's move on to other items so that we can
okay.
provide comments on other items as well.
So,
So Crenshaw, you had other items you wanted to discuss?
Yeah, just one other one, left over from last time, can you describe again how deliveries work and what vehicles are used and where they'll park and when it will happen?
The.
Natalie, where to go?
Little, was it in Word? I don't know.
No, it was. What was it? I guess it did.
Go back to Zoom and share again.
Yeah, they don't want to see it anymore.
Here.
Middle fun.
There you go.
Yeah.
Zoom in.
The Zoom
Yeah,
a little
all
bit,
it-
please.
like we usually get like the overnight, food product, anything comes, it comes with the like the big box truck. And for box truck is easily like the get in the parking lot, turn it on, get out the parking lot. And our entrance is right here, that is the reason, I will say like the box truck can park here. And unload everything from here to enter the inside, and very rare time like it comes like the daytime. If any time comes like that, of course, they are gonna park either parking lot in the front or in the behind, or they can park anywhere here, load everything inside. If they came in the daytime, they cannot block the traffic because of my business. Of course, they're gonna go down, park, or they can able to park on the side, this side, unload everything, bring it. It's gonna be a little bit more difficult for them, but as I said, definitely they cannot able to block the traffic. It's gonna affect my business more. That is the explanation I can say.
And how about the pizza delivery vehicles? They're gonna be parked in those back spots?
Yeah, they are gonna park either here or one parking spot is right here. Usually like if we have one driver, I will prepare them to park here to ease access from the like this door. I don't want the employee to get in the main entrance where the customer go. I like to use them like to use exiting emergency door.
And you said 2 delivery trips an hour?
Approximately, like in the daytime, like I would say like from opening to like until 3, 4, let's say 1, very rare 2. Between like the rush time, like between 5 to 8, I would say 2 at least.
Like on a Friday or Saturday night?
I would say 3 per hour. And usually drivers like, they are not getting at the same time 1 order, like, for example, if it's in the same road, they can grab at the same time 3 order. If it's the opposite way, basically I give them 1, 2, 1, the other driver, or like either one of them manage it that way to make them like the less get in and out.
Are your delivery drivers your employees or do you use?
My employee. Domino's requirement is like we cannot work with the third party company as an employee.
We talked about that at the last meeting a bit.
So I'm a little uneasy about overnight deliveries since we've. But.
What was the reason? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
This site abuts residential property, and has other residential property nearby, and. I'm having a hard time thinking through allowing deliveries. Super early morning.
At the same
I
time,
would think deliveries would happen during standard business hours.
Bill Numser, can you recall any decisions recently that we looked at that type of item?
Hours of deliveries,
Yeah,
adjacent, no.
marijuana establishments, maybe,
What's that?
maybe the marijuana establishments. They have deliveries that we discussed.
No, we didn't limit, we didn't
Not
limit,
hours.
yeah, we limit the hours of operation.
Does the McDonald's deliver overnight? Or
McDonald's-
they seem to do it in the day. They always block up spaces and stuff for
What I'm looking at is I just wanna be consistent.
Well, consistent, to my knowledge, we've not done that. We've controlled hours of operation for all the special permits are done.
We did it for 129.
Well, that's true, but that, yeah, I'm saying for downtown, 129, we had, well, it was, delivery, drop off. This size of truck, you could park here, that was different kettle of fish. This is a question of I don't know, whatever time you're open at 9 o'clock, or 10 o'clock, whatever you open.
10:30 AM in the morning.
Yeah, 10 till, so it would be a question of if that is really a disruption or board feels it is or not. To the.
I would like to have a comment for about that. If you look at the other business in the Maynard, CVS, Market Basket, and a couple more business in the digital way, and they are always getting like the overnight delivery. Because I used to live over there, that's why I'm just like knowing 100%.
Market basket camping.
Yeah, can't use some as an example.
That's,
Boy, we know about that.
yeah.
But yeah, your point is taken.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to understand. I just want it to be consistent with whatever is occurring. So,
The CVS doesn't get them overnight.
can we just put a little effort into this to see what's generally occurring and allowed? And I want this applicant to have the same opportunity as any other business.
Is the theory that currently we do not specify when any deliveries are made for any other businesses in downtown?
That's correct. To my knowledge, we don't have any of that. I mean, I could.
I don't want to start them.
Yeah,
Right, I would say if this is another applicant or any applicant
and I think
with
that,
a delivery, I don't know that we've ever done that.
I think that if there are noise concerns, then I'm sure we will hear about them.
Well, noise concerns yeah, then it becomes
No, like,
yeah,
that's the concern with
Right.
deliveries, right?
Yeah.
So,
well, I guess, yeah, that would be a code, it could end up potentially being a code violation.
right,
But no, noise is not a code violation. It's
Well,
not measurable.
oh, it's measurable.
Noise is only a state violation.
Yeah, I mean, it would be extreme,
Personal
no
injury,
question, no
Not a
question.
nuisance thing.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that if we have a use that is walking in saying, you know what, I'm gonna do deliveries with a refrigerated truck at 2 AM. It's like, why? Why don't you just do it at 8 o'clock? Do it between 8 AM and 8
Absolutely.
PM, what do I care? But
Right, yeah, well, then you're right.
Why at 2 AM? I mean, this is not a business.
No, you
This
could,
is a mixed use.
well, no, I'm saying that we've limited, you can, I'm just saying we haven't done it downtown, that's all. So it's a delivery for,
I'm just not aware that's occurring anywhere.
I don't know with the liquor store. I don't know if they are,
No, liquor stores are highly
I don't know.
regulated on deliveries, they do not do that overnight.
I don't
I
know,
believe the Open Table has deliveries with their
they
trucks.
may,
They have, and it's,
They might.
they might,
very-
McDonald's might, yeah,
it gets very congested when they're in.
and,
I have a question. Like, would you think about that this way? Maybe like the noise is your concern, but at the same time, imagine this, every business in the Maynard Center. Like, if they get the daytime delivery, in the one truck is covering like the 3 parking spot. Can you imagine how much it's gonna affect for people wanting to use the Maynard Center? Because last couple weeks I have been going over there. I'm not gonna name the business, but I see that some trucks are parking over there to unloading approximately more than 1 hour. And nobody get ticket, that's why drivers are very relaxed, getting in, getting out, and then the people wanted to find the parking spot. They are just basically like driving around or have to park like the maybe way farther away. If you look at it that way, maybe it will be a little bit 50-50 side.
Thank you, that's good perspective. Bill, let's talk more about that item. We're not closing tonight, so.
well,
We
I
don't
think,
have to have an answer.
I mean. Your deliveries really come at what, pretty much in,
To be honest, I'm not gonna say any number because it's very like changeable. I don't wanna say to like overnight or like a daytime. Right now, currently in the Acton, Tuesday and Thursday, I'm getting 3 times in a week. It's Tuesday, Thursday, usually like comes like in a daytime. But Saturday comes like the nighttime, we don't even like the see them. And for this location, I don't wanna say to like a specific time to later on like to lie to you. That's why it depends on how the commissary is working. They are rotating the drivers like based on the location and depends on your your life.
the board has in other locations. Like not in downtown, but we've said like, for example, like a truck can come until whatever, 10 o'clock or whatever like that. So my suggestion, I think what would be helpful would be if, we're not the only community that would limit deliveries. Perhaps it would be a good idea to check if there's a level of flexibility with deliveries.
Yeah, definitely, I will ask
This
them.
board would wanna know that, and it's possible they could put some sort of constraint on it. That would be my suggestion.
Yeah, definitely, I will
We've
ask
done
them
it,
and get the
because we have
letter.
done it on other locations, and now it is starting, the board should just be, if we do this would be a precedent, it's gonna. The board opted to do that, that would be something we have to.
We
like
understand that. We haven't made any decision.
Understood.
And I just wanted to comment on this fact. I mean, I see where you're coming from regarding congestion. The side and streets and sidewalks during deliveries during the day, but I do live downtown. And once or twice a week, I am woken up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning with backup alarms of large trucks, and it is disturbing. So. I would,
We
Put that
back
for
up alarms,
consideration.
didn't we, on Mayor Cross? We did,
I think we did, yes.
yeah, we did take off.
Okay, let's move on. Other comments from the board?
Most of my concerns were addressed in terms of, dimensional drive aisle and parking
Oh,
concern.
There's, Mr. Chair, there's a hand raised. We
No,
haven't
we're not
opened comments.
taking, we're not taking comments at this time. I will open up public comment later.
I just have a question on your driveway with the gate.
Mhm.
But there's also one on the other side. You were saying you were going to put a planter there.
Yes,
Is this planter a boxed planter or is it just a planter like that's on a corner?
it's gonna be like I showed the example on the
Right,
picture.
the corner planter.
Yes, corner planter, just like, I just don't wanna have the only, like the item pole, I just rather wanna put front of them to look nicer for the main center.
Right, if so, that'll be enough room for your recycling truck or the trash truck to go through that.
Oh, yeah, yeah, based on the measurement, I'm gonna put that way, yeah.
So they just move, so the truck will go in, then it goes around to the other side,
Yes.
or it'll go around the
Yeah.
other way to get out. As a U-turn, or does it back up?
No, they're not gonna back up, they're gonna go in,
Oh,
turn
yeah,
around,
turn
and get
around.
out the exit, there is gonna be one-way traffic, there is not gonna be backup possible.
Yeah, and you said that your deliveries are made by box truck, a large box
Right,
truck.
so.
is it like a standard,
Large, but yeah,
No, but yes,
yeah, they're gonna be big enough to like, get in and out easily.
is it a standard like 52 foot long?
There is no standard for us, I don't wanna lie, like it's,
I
and right
think,
now, the commissary center has like a more than 150 truck. Based on depends on the driver, what they dispatch it, depends on the road, like how busy they are, like. And it's all changeable.
I think what someone who's doing the site plan should do is do a truck turning analysis.
Exactly.
Because that's pretty
That's what I'm getting at.
standard. Whether it's for the garbage truck,
Mhm.
whether it's for the delivery truck, whatever the largest expected thing would be, because then you can figure out, how it's gonna work.
Well,
I think that's pretty basic.
Right, cause my concern would be when it comes out, that corner that's by the building, it's gonna be a blind item for the driver and then for a car that's coming down the street.
I mean, even,
How wide, if the truck is going through and then trying to make a turn, the street's not that, Main Street is not that wide.
Mhm.
Depending on the size of the truck, of course.
Yeah.
The delivery truck,
True.
So that's a good comment. Bill, can you
it's
Can you
that
take that?
blind.
take that comment and we talk offline with the applicant and,
Truck turning radius?
yeah, his engineer?
Yeah, I think as I understand it, the board, they would like to see that as part of the engineering plan.
Good.
That's a pretty simple when you're doing it, so it's, yeah. I'm thinking of that, that'd be something, it should be something they talk about. Trucks go in and out of downtown, but they wanna make sure it's gonna work.
Chris, did you have a comment?
no, it was the same thing, just trying to, you got cars parked on both sides of the road, and how do you get a large box truck to hit those radiuses?
It depends on how big the truck is though.
Right,
And for a small area, for 1,000 square foot area. I don't think you're gonna get that much of a big delivery.
just depends on how big the truck is that's doing a route that
Right.
is hitting
That's,
20 different stores.
Also though, plan B, I can tell you, like, if it's a truck is big, you cannot turn around, they can park always on the main street, unlock the over there,
Yeah, but
like the
that-
other business.
But,
over
right,
there.
but then we're blocking parking spots or traffic.
Yeah, but there is like the other business are doing the same thing.
Mm.
That is, I have like extra parking lot, I don't wanna use it to like to save as much as I can, but if it's the emergency, if it's the necessary. Like the situation, they can able to use it. Is this something not possible?
But I don't think that we should plan on blocking traffic or parking spots because other people are doing it. I mean, that needs to be enforced, but that's not within our purview.
Oh,
But
yeah, definitely, I'm not saying like, I would like to do it, I'm saying like as a plan B, like if it's necessary, the truck is not gonna be able to turn. And they can park on the street like as other business.
I have a problem if they brought a tractor trailer in here, because. I can put any box truck you got into that driveway, that's easy.
Yeah,
So a box truck can move through that site, tractor trailer, no.
Right.
I wanna see all deliveries on the site. Because it's a DOD and, one of the DOD special permit criteria is don't screw up the parking.
I agree. I think all deliveries will need to be required to be on site. I don't want to approve any roadway
No,
deliveries.
no, that can't, that board can't.
Yeah.
I don't think it's appropriate, and it's something that's gonna be addressed. I mean, we're gonna run into that in town.
Yeah.
Sooner rather than later anyway. I
No,
think
we've
it's-
required that on other projects as well in the
You
DOD.
can't use the,
And for other projects that come to planning board, we continue to make sure that deliveries are off the road. Even for residential projects. Any other comments?
I just had one on the signage. I mean, I know it sounds like it's gonna meet whatever the bylaw is, but just looking at the elevations, it looked like. It looked like there was a lot of signage that it felt a little,
well, there's a signage company that has been in contact. That already with the building commissioners, working building commissioner, so that's gonna be. It's, I think it was your sign company, Colin, right, yeah, I can't, yeah, they've already contacted, got a couple of them come in, so I can tell the board that's being worked out directly with the building commissioner, and regardless of what's shown in a depiction, without a special permit, it's not gonna be signed off unless it meets the bylaw standards. It's a non-starter.
okay.
If they want something optional, which they haven't asked for, that's a special permit.
Do the things like window graphics count towards signage area?
There's, if a window graphic has a non-logo picture. So for example, CVS is a picture of a doctor with a stethoscope hanging in. That doesn't count as signage. If it had, a signage saying, CVS, your discount home or whatever the case is. So that's how we handled that. It happened at, I think, Emerson or something as well. So there's, the key is, logos or advertisements, put a generic picture of a, whatever.
pizza.
A pizza.
A pizza.
No, I mean, I understand the need for signage on a business, but the Domino's stuff on the side of the building and every window having a window graphic on it. Just seemed a little,
There's a limit for all,
Excessive.
anything like that is limited. I mean, there's square footage limitations.
And this would be with the building commissioner permit.
That's correct.
Any other comments? Okay, I'll open up to public comment. So for members in the room, please raise your hand, and for members online, please use the raise hand feature or turn on your video and raise your hand, and we'll call on people, individuals one at a time. A comment should be about the project itself, and we limit comments to 3 minutes. Any public comments for tonight?
We have one here.
Okay, I see hands online, so let's start with, I can't see too well, Bill, my eyes are
Mark.
bad. Mark,
Pineski.
Pineski? Yes. Hi, Mark.
Hi, maybe this got covered and I missed it, but I only
Sorry,
see
Mark.
one. Oh, can you hear me
Sorry,
all
Mark.
right?
I have to give one more instruction. If you could, just for the record, please identify yourself. That's all.
And address.
And address.
Mark
Thanks.
Panansky, 75 Great Road. Maybe I missed this, but I only see one entrance in this. Also, is there going to be a back means of egress? You know, they're loading out the garbage, all that sort of stuff. I mean, obviously you can't, you were talking about the deliveries on the street and there's a crosswalk there, all that sort of stuff, but I only see one entry in this plan. Or one.
Anything else, Mark?
Nope, that was it for now.
Thanks, Phil.
Thanks.
And Mark, we will circle back on this item. I just want to take other public comments as well.
Sure.
Bill, any other comments? Alan Quinn, please, if you could.
Hello, Alan Quinn. I'm the abutter at 56 to 58 Main Street, and have the brewery next door as well. I just want to get more information about the easement, because we actually are the ones who have the easement with that property. We each have an easement crossing from Main Street to River Street. And so I just have concerns for the tenants in our building and that easement, and maintaining access to that easement for people to be able to cross pedestrian traffic between Main Street and the rear of our building.
Anything else, Alan?
Nope, thank you.
Okay, thank you both. Bill, are there other comments?
I don't see any other online.
Okay, any comments in the room here tonight? None? Yes, please,
Right, thank all of you for doing what you're doing, and appreciate you bringing your business planner. I said in the, I'm sorry, Linda Thayer, 14 Chandler Street, sorry, should know by now. So I have a couple of questions. I have a longer statement, but a couple of questions, and one is specifically the dumpster. The picking up the trash, how is that trash truck going to access safely? So my biggest concern here is safety. It's about the location of I'm gonna back up. Linda Thayer, 14 Chandler Street. A delivery-focused business which will significantly increase the number of times vehicles drive across the sidewalk in what is one of the busiest locations downtown Maynard does not support a safe, walkable environment that the town has been cultivating through bylaws, the downtown overlay district, and the cultural district, nor will it invite people to come into town to experience all Maynard has to offer. It will increase vehicular traffic, but not foot traffic. So this location has the driveways that straddle a crosswalk. It's directly across from Maynard Court, as some of you have pointed out, when vehicles are coming out of there, turning in, it's a very busy condensed area, and there's outdoor dining across the street. We're talking about trucks pulling out and making a turn, but in this conversation tonight, the conversation of trash pickup comes up. So how will a truck picking up a dumpster enter and exit safely? So that was one, and then circling back to the right of way or the easement between the two properties. It's used a lot by people crossing, walking all over downtown, and looking at the handicap access that needs to go from the parking space to the entrance. It's narrower in that area. So I think, to your point tonight, that having an engineer site plan is really crucial before you folks can make a decision. I know it's not being made tonight, but I think the location, this particular location is difficult for this particular type of business. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Anything else? Is that it?
No, thank you.
Okay, any other public comments online, Bill?
No.
Oh, yes, sure.
Yeah, sure one. Alex there, 14 Chandler Street. Thank you for coming to town. Welcome to Maynard. I run a business too. I live in this town and I've had a business next door 15 years. And it's a wonderful time to have a business in. I want to thank town leaders for their time at this time of night, you know, to get another business going in Maynard. We can certainly use that. Unfortunately, where this business is going to be located is going to make a busy sidewalk more unsafe. The proposed business is a fast-paced delivery service, which we're talking about speed bumps, you know, fast food and speed bumps, wrong for downtown. It must, you know, and it's a delivery service that must cross the sidewalk 2 times for every order. No other downtown restaurant or food service has a delivery vehicle that needs to cross the sidewalk. You may know that I have a business at 56 Main Street, Look Optical. I changed the front door from the front door to the back door during COVID. When one of my patients was almost killed by a bicyclist on the sidewalk. One of the reasons I changed my front door to the back door is safety. I did not want one of my patients to walk out into a bicycle or a skateboard. So what they do now is they park on River Street or they park on Main Street and they walk along the building. Right where this driveway is going to be. And this is an access that is more busy than ever because the beer garden used to be an access from River Street to Main Street, but since the beer garden closed that off, now my pass-through is not only my patients, but residents and people who work in back of the building. We have art studio, we have a beautification studio upstairs. We're gonna have next to me, we're loading in a weights business. The sidewalk is very, very busy and there are blind spots, and I think you know this if you've been downtown. If you've been to dinner at Azukar outside and enjoyed a beautiful night, the last thing I want is 3 bright lights shining on that experience. You know, we have great downtown dining and you know, we have this Boston Magazine labeled us one of the most walkable towns in Metro West. That's not for nothing, you know, and that's why I put my business downtown on Main Street. Because it's a walk-by place. It's, you know, thankfully you have a business, but a drive-by business in this location, I feel is a detriment to the town and a safety issue, seriously. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments, Bill?
Nope.
So one of my comments at the end of this is that we're gonna need to. Planning board's gonna need to understand the easements that are available in here, just
Well, yeah, I was gonna ask for clarification on that, because if we're talking about easements crossing the property.
Mhm.
Those absolutely have to be, we have to be careful when we start going off site for this.
I'm not asking
You're
for
right. and-
off-site easements, I'm
This is
asking
right.
about what easements.
Are existing on
Are
the property
existing on
should
the
be
property.
identified for sure. That your engineer will do, that's critical part. I don't want to minimize that. But we're limited to on property, which is why the board said about
Definitely.
parking outside of this.
Definitely, I will work on every single detail.
And this may have been implied with the request for the civil engineer, but the turning patterns for delivery trucks and dumpsters should be shown.
Yeah, the turning radius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Including with parallel parking.
Is there a dumpster there now?
But the dumpster company just came over and checked it out.
Yeah.
They were saying that's definitely, it's okay to like get in and out.
I presume this, I didn't ask this, I should have just asked, it's a front load, probably a front load dumpster, meaning they
Oh,
pick
yeah.
up from the front of the vehicle.
Yes,
Mr. Chadwick, may I ask another question? Is there a back door
no, then the
In the
front
park-
side has 2 doors.
on the sides?
Yes, one on the right side, one on the left side. Left side is gonna be emergency door, right side is the door entering for the customer.
So that's that's in the drive area of the delivery and
Yes,
pickup. Okay, thank you.
So to be clear, no back entrance.
Back in.
No front entrance?
there is 2 front entrance, one for emergency. It does used to be like that, like the building, they made it, I didn't change anything.
I guess we're confused, can we just cover the entrances then?
Yeah. So the entrance.
Go up or down. Up. Oh, right there. Right.
That's what you want?
They look the same.
Right. Is that, those are doors?
There's the,
Those are window
There's two front doors and that's it.
Oh, no.
on the right
Yeah,
side.
yeah, they're on
one, two.
Okay. Those are the two doors only.
that's it.
Any further comments or questions from the planning board? Okay, I'll close public hearing. I'm sorry, I'll close the public comment period. Bill, we should continue.
Wait, are we closing the public comment period forever?
And I just recommend.
Okay.
Stop. Realistically. Get this thing. Not gonna make it 22nd.
Gonna be November.
Is that what you're gonna be November? Now we're going to do. The 12th. Do you have an engineer you're working with now?
I am not sure, they have a engineering for the, like, who make the plan and architecture company?
They probably would.
I
But
will double check.
you
with
start
them.
with there, if not, there's just a couple, there's some local. right?
Yeah, I will, if they don't, I will definitely ask you to find the local.
Would you be comfortable if this board, continued to November 12th? That's a pretty quick turnaround.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
And that would be if the board's comfortable with that. The 12th, that's the day after, Veterans Day.
We can continue then, and if we need to continue again, we will.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then tomorrow, what we'll do, at one point or tomorrow or Wednesday, or Thursday. You can, why don't you send me a note of everything that you think you need, and I'll send you mine. And so we prepare you for the engineer.
Okay, definitely, thank you so much.
Okay, I'll make a motion to continue the hearing to November 12th at 7 PM.
I'll second that.
All in favor of the continuance, please raise your hand. It's 5-0 to, right, 5-0, okay, 5-0 to continue. To November 12th. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Bill will be in touch, and I'm here to help.
It might not be tomorrow or you,
Discussion's good.
but I will be in touch by Thursday.
I'll definitely bother you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for everything.
Okay, I'll open up the public hearing for 78 to 80 Main Street. This is an application filed by Robert,
Giza.
Giza, okay, Giza, Robert Giza. And
I'd be happy to give a little introduction or background on if the board would like.
this is, yes, and it looks like this is a special permit request.
Correct.
Okay,
The currently, this is a special permit request to allow a multifamily in downtown. And the reason that this is, the only thing that's really unusual about this is the address. The address is a Main Street address. And typically, it falls in the triangle in an area that is not, it requires mixed use. However, the frontage, which is the determining factor, is not on Main Street. Therefore, the applicant can apply for multifamily use in this area. Currently, and I'll turn it over to her in a second. But this is I believe there was an office downstairs, and this was essentially in mixed use. Abundance of caution, the building commissioner recommended we go through this process, and I think the applicant is requesting 3 units, which currently I believe it was 2. So what the board will be looking for in this case is a special permit in the downtown overlay district to allow a multifamily. Okay, did I say something?
No, sorry. Although,
Something in my teeth?
no, although I'd like to point out that on the agenda, there's a mistake, 'cause it says a total of 4 housing units, and I do believe only 3 are.
That is correct. That is correct. You can always make less sound.
Yes, you can always make less.
Can we just get a map to show where this is and, you know, why it's not a frontage on Main Street?
Right, the frontage is on River Street, correct? Bill?
Yeah,
I think a little Google Maps would help me.
I think. Okay, I'll go.
This one, man.
Or the assessor map.
Oh, don't make him bring that up right now.
Oh, sorry. Kill me. Well, yeah. I don't know if this one has a map on it.
I think, well, there are pictures, I think.
Is there on this one or this one? I don't know. Sorry, but I don't get it. Did I? No, I did not.
I think on the application.
There was some, let's go. Let's see, bear with me, Eric, sorry. Okay. After I put a fast food restaurant in his house, now I can.
There you go.
Yeah.
How's that?
Are you sharing that?
I'm not yet, I'm sure it's the right thing, I'm not sure the wrong thing. There we go. And let's make it smaller, and now we'll share. And let me go. There we go.
And that image, the butter to the left, sanctuary. Okay.
So this is, north is to the top of the map. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And as you said, sanctuaries to the left, so to the west.
Art space is the north thing.
Okay, I'm understanding now.
I don't really understand where the Main Street address is coming from.
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
Where the River Street address comes from?
So Bill, did you want to turn this over to the applicant?
Yeah.
Okay, can you just have the applicant identify himself for the record first?
I am Robert Giza, and I was living at 78 Main, and I just moved to 50 Summer Street. Basically the building is a house structure that when I bought the building in 2021, there was actually tenants living downstairs, residents. They moved out at the end of 2022, and it's been vacant. And then the garage is a separate unit that, to my knowledge, was originally 20 River Street. So I'm hoping to convert the downstairs to officially be a residence, and then the garage, convert that to a second separate unit. So the 3 units would be the garage is one, the first floor of the house, and then the second floor that's already a residence.
Thank you. We seem to have lost Bill Nemser, so if you could just hold on a second.
So currently it's a 1 upstairs residence and then 2 downstairs spaces, one of which is defined as commercial, but has most recently been used as residential.
Correct. I think the last permitted use for it, from my understanding, was a adult child care center, but I don't know how long ago that was.
It would be useful to be kind of cool. Image of this.
Am I allowed to do that?
Yeah, yeah. Chris is finding us a Google map.
Oh.
Now we get to see how fast Chris is.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm speedy.
I'm gonna have a new bill. Oh.
Nice.
Wow.
You're already doing very well.
I understand.
No pressure now. Yeah, come on.
Oh, good.
There you go.
That was pretty quick. All right, so
So is that showing up on the screen properly?
Yeah.
For everybody? Okay.
Yeah, so
So the
That
tan
build-
roof is the garage, and that's gonna be renovated. And then the front building, the downstairs, needs some work, but that was what I was hoping to officially convert to a residence.
so
So Bill, what's our job in this?
What?
What's our job right now? Yeah, what do we need to do? What do we need to evaluate?
I gotta think it over. He just stole my job, so I gotta. So the basic charge here is to decide if the property falls under, meets the special permit criteria for the standard state statute. And in this case, it's in the downtown overlay district. So in the downtown overlay district, if I pull up the staff report, there's a list of, as you know, items that try to enhance the components of the DOT that we all love. And other than that, there's really not much. It's not a site plan. It is a use. It's elimination of the garage space and office for a 3-unit apartment. And so the boards, I would think the boards could easily just go through the criteria, decide that this is a they should go down, see if they find that it is consistent with the special permit criteria. It's really, there's a few details that I think that the applicant will probably want to run over, but as we go through them.
Do you want to bring up that criteria?
Do you? Thank you.
You'd give me a keyboard at the same time, you'd be shocked how fast I go.
Oh my God.
don't do that. Don't close it.
Oh, keep it up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take your mouse back away.
Yeah, wait a minute. Let's see, agenda is here, so we need to get. Some guys all over the place. That's not good. There we go. Now, share. Look at me go.
You did
Very
great.
nice.
You did great.
Okay, so what we have here is the special permit criteria, the good old. 10.4, this is the state. And what the board doesn't need to find. So like we said, to be clear, we don't need to find it, we just need to consider these to determine them. These are the special permit criteria here. And the DOD has their number one. So I can.
Does anyone need clarity on the standard special permit criteria for the state, which is 10.4.2? Can you scroll down to the DOD special permit criteria? So for a special permit in the downtown overlay district, and we need to determine that this is. That this project's meeting the DOD requirements, Bill?
Mhm.
So we need to determine. The proposed development will improve the functioning of the downtown. In one of the following means. Provide a significant improvement of usage of number of parking spaces. Provide a significant improvement of the effectiveness of parking, and it continues on to item 6. What's the staff's recommendation on how this meets the criteria? Do we have one?
It's an existing structure. It's integrated in the community already. I think that the upgrades, maybe, Robert can go over a couple of the exterior improvements, but it's generally it's going to repurpose the property. And I think that it provides an additional benefit to the residents because it's keeping residents downtown. That would be my opinion. Effectiveness of parking space allocation downtown. Well, and that would mean that anybody living downtown presumably would have to drive less and take fewer parking spaces, although there's parking on the site there, I believe, that's, I don't, or how many parking spaces are included on the site? I forget.
There's 10 spots that are available for this part of, there's 20 spots in the lot that I own, but 10 of them are deeded to the front building where art space is. So there's 10 total left that are available for these units.
So it's not gonna be taking up additional parking.
And then I was hoping to do other plantings around the building and add light to the front of the building where there's steps that there's a lot of people tend to walk from the municipal lot on River Street through my lot to get to either Sanctuary or Main Street. So hoping to improve the lighting there when I do this. So
Would you be agreeable if the board was to make that a condition? To improve the lighting to allow for a brighter illumination?
Yep.
River Street. And then, so that, you know, we have the
Is the current property occupied from its previous use, meaning,
is anybody living there?
anyone living or working there?
I was recently, as of last week, living upstairs. I just moved and it'll be, I'm actually going to be renting the upstairs to my mother for the short term. But the downstairs is empty and the garage is completely empty.
And then the C, I think, you know, with the board would decide if the pedestrian experience, I think the illumination is the key part. I believe that you had told me, you were also considering, you either removed some paving and added some landscaped area. Did I hear that? Did I remember that correctly?
Yeah, there's a sliver of the lot that's close to River Street that would be part of sort of the improvements around the garage that I think I'd be able to get a little bit more of the asphalt removed without losing any parking spaces. It's about 8-foot strip, I believe.
That would definitely improve the water quality and the runoff reaching the river. And then the last is, the proposed development is designed, in a manner compatible with the existing features, it's existing.
Yeah, I'm not changing. In terms of like the footprint or any of that, I am not changing anything.
Comments, questions from the board?
We have a plan that shows those improvements.
I believe that the application has can you open up the application?
Maybe. You might have to call Chris.
Yeah, the application should have elevation views of the garage plans.
Yeah, there we go. Let me.
Where's the landscaping that was?
Oh, it's going to Australia.
You're not zooming in, you're rotating.
I don't know if there's anything with the landscaping.
In the lot view.
So the footprint isn't changing.
None
Can
of
you
the-
just, can you describe the improvements? You did some plantings, right?
Yeah, so currently there's some planters that are integrated with a fence around part of the front of the garage, and I was hoping to continue that. I got a lot of good feedback on that improvement, so I was hoping to continue that to sort of finish wrapping around the front of the garage, and then on the River Street side of the garage, basically just additional plantings there that are, there's already some green space there, but it's like and so these are on this is currently the Sanctuary side, so there's not currently any major improvements on that side. This is the let's see, east facing side. And sort of on the bottom picture, you can see on the left, I did some planters with the fence there, and further where that storage unit is right now is where there would be an opportunity for potentially some additional green space.
Bill, I just think we just need to document what the improvements are some way, and, you know, in a simplistic manner. We don't need obviously a site plan, but we just need to, you know, the submittal needs to just have what the,
Plantings and the
what,
light.
it just needs to show what the benefits are, that's all. In a sort of efficient way.
So Bill, can you go back to the Google map?
Yeah.
Zoom in on the, near that, white here thing there, yeah. Zoom in on there a little more. That's fine. Just move it over away from the people. So, this is DOT and pedestrian experience, protective river, all that stuff is criteria for the special permit. In my mind, I'm thinking, since this is paved all the way to the property line, if the two closest spaces could go away and be landscaped, so basically 8 or 9 feet of landscape buffer from the property line, that would go a long way to using the criteria, yeah.
I don't know if I have the option on the ones on the east side. They're deeded to the front building, so I have to provide them with 10 spots on that, on the right side, what we're looking at right now. I'd be happy to give up the spot on the left there, where, yeah, basically where that white box is.
And can you help point us to on this map where you were talking about adding lighting?
Lighting would be towards the front of the building, so basically right under the restaurant's button on maps, if you drag the map a little bit. So people tend to walk from the municipal lot was behind, and then they come up, so let's see, where the mouse is, if you come down towards the building and then hook a right into the parking lot, there's steps right there that are, so not on that side where the mouse is, but on the front of the house, towards Main Street, at that part. So people come around that corner and there's a couple steps going down into the parking lot. And I think adding light there on the side of the house would be ideal.
So it would be some sort of like light that would illuminate that whole area.
Yeah, kind of like a porch light of sorts. So that would be that's what I thought.
Do you own the sidewalk that accesses all the way from that side of the red house all the way out to Main Street?
No, that is my deeded access to Main Street, but I don't own that. That's owned by I own whatever portion is on my property in the front, but the rest of it that runs along the side of 76 is owned by that property owner. And it's in my deed, so that sort of like they have deeded rights to the parking spaces, and I have a deeded right to the that walkway.
How delightfully complicated.
Yeah.
So to be clear, I'm not sure I understand exactly. The lighting would be here.
Yep. Coming off, yeah, exactly. Like what I've pictured when I've been out there is like porch light height or thereabouts, a sconce on the side of the building that would be right where the steps are. So not like a giant floodlight, but enough to cover that area.
To make sure, yeah. Bill, did you?
So if we're looking at something like both removing pavement,
Somebody had them here.
down where that storage thing currently is. Which is the first parking space, right, when you first pull in,
Yeah, exactly.
paired with. Improving or adding lighting. On the whatever side, no, north side, whatever side of the building that is.
And north side.
The north side of the building, since that is used as a walkway, despite it not being a, technical. It's all private property, but people use it to, when they cross River Street to walk through your parking lot.
Exactly. And the parking lot itself has plenty of lighting, but because of the way the house shades that area with the steps, it could definitely use a light there.
And you're making exterior improvements to these buildings, is that correct?
To the garage, which the elevation pictures show some of that. The house less so. I mean, I'm planning on retrimming some of the windows that need that, but it's vinyl siding. I'm not going to do anything to that.
And so for the garage, it looks like you're replacing windows on the garage?
Replacing windows. One of the windows that would be where the bedroom is will be an egress, so it's going to be enlarged. And then on the side of the garage that's facing the parking lot, that the east facing side where all the doors currently are, that'll be basically a new wall with windows and doors, so that'll be a market improvement. So that picture is coming from the sanctuary side. One of the second window from the left would be taller so that it can act as an egress for the bedroom, but otherwise those windows are not going to be wildly changed.
On the garage.
Yes.
What color window trim are you proposing?
I'm not positive yet. There's one window that I might try to get incorporated that has a sort of dark brown trim on it, on the outside.
And my aesthetics may be off on this, but it may make it a stronger application if some of the window features are similar to other building structures in town. But that I could be wrong about that. I'm thinking of
more like darker trim windows, or no?
Yeah, I don't know what I don't know if the window trim is nearby on the brick structures on Main Street. I don't even know if I would advise matching it to those, because I just don't know what they are. But if my point is that there would be a stronger application if we could if this project demonstrates that it is enhancing the aesthetic features by, providing consistency of aesthetics in the area. I don't know how to do that, so.
Well, I can tell you the one, I don't know how to write that, but all of the windows in the garage are going to be replaced with modern windows that will improve the aesthetic no matter what. I understand what you're saying, but currently the garage is pretty beat up looking, and I think that the improvements we're planning will definitely be beneficial to the neighborhood.
Other questions or comments from the board? I'm thinking we need to continue just 2 weeks. I just want to make sure that the record's clear, but what the improvements are.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, is that clear, or are you doing something?
Yeah, so mostly just more specific location of the lighting and then the green space. Are those the two main?
Yeah, well, I'm a little, can you clarify about the windows? That was what I didn't.
I'm just going to remove that comment.
Okay.
So it's fine.
So then, yeah, it's something where the board has a clear understanding of what the, are you meeting the criteria, and that would be, a graphic that shows the green space.
So here's what I'm thinking, just an overhead image
Yeah.
that says, lighting improvement here,
Right,
removal of parking space here with some arrows and some words in a box.
right.
That just, like could just be one image that just shows what the improvements are.
That we would memorialize with the decision, so it's to your benefit as well, because it's gonna be recorded anyway. And you wanna have that. So that would be
And we're
good.
okay with if I plan on just losing one parking space, is that okay? For
Well,
that.
I'd like to know whether the deed requires those exact 10 spaces. Or any 10 spaces.
It does specify 10, it specifies where they are in the lot. I could look into it more, but I know that it specifically specifies 10 spots along the east edge of the lot. Or however it's worded. So it is specific to that area. I also, there's a little bit of, I'd like to keep some definition between where are the spaces for the house and the rest of the lot, 'cause sometimes depending on the usage, so it'd be nice if there was it's easier right now that it's very specific that they have the use of the parking spots in a row. But yeah, I do believe it's in the deed where they are.
Well, if you just, when you prepare the graphic, we'd wanna double check that that's
Sure.
the case.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
And feedback for the applicant?
Can this site get any weirder?
I'm sure we could ask Ert to see if we could make it weirder.
Do my best.
Okay.
This,
Ert, is 2 weeks okay for continuance, or would you prefer more time?
No, that'd be great.
And that would be
October 22nd.
October 22nd. Okay, I'll make a motion to continue this hearing to, oh, sorry, I have to open up public comment. Are there any members online, Bill?
No.
There's no public members online? No. Okay, I will open up public comment, but just noted for the record, there are no members of the public in the room, and there are no members of the public online. So public comment was open, and now it's being closed, so there's no one available. And I will make a motion to continue this hearing to October 22nd at 7 p.m.
I will second that.
All in favor of the continuance, please raise your hand. 5-0 to continue. Thank you, Art, for your time. We appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you. Bill, you have 5 minutes to give us a planner update.
So okay. Yeah, and each of you, I gave you a list of our consolidated comments. For Kenzo.
Yes.
I would like to have these in, the purpose of this first iteration is because I'm going to deliver them to the select board on Tuesday, tonight. So if you could please look these over. Chris, send them out, but Jeff is, I think you're handling these, okay, so if you want any adjustments made or anything. We can send it to, if you send it to myself, Jeff, and Chris, that would be good. My letter, as planning director, Chris and I reviewed it briefly, coming at it from a different angle a little bit. I think you guys covered a lot here, and I don't think me regurgitating everything is to help. I'm coming at it more from the suitability of the project eligibility letter. And other updates, let me see.
Can I just clarify one thing? On the comments that one board members provided, I did format them differently, so, like, for example, Jill Crenshaw, your comment would have a reference to section 2(1)(e), and that was, in the comment itself, and I pulled those types of items out and, just for formatting purposes. The contents of the comments haven't changed, I just did some things to format them differently. Usually. So,
Yeah, and just add something peripheral to that, I need to recuse from this project, so. whatever you do with the comments, it's fine by me.
Understood.
You do? Oh, that's right.
Okay.
Well,
Well, there's
we know.
nothing to recuse from yet, so.
Yeah, nothing to refuse from yet. Yeah. You got a rhyme for this too? We need rhymes. You speak.
Okay, so sorry, continue.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's, of note for you guys. Just that, Natalie, had requested, and we're going to try to keep, I imagine that Kenso will probably dominate for a little bit, but it should settle down shortly. But that we're gonna keep the EMOD updates on the, recurring agenda, so we can discuss them as a discussion item, so I'll keep them as a recurring agenda item. Maybe you'll remind me so I don't forget to.
So fun, guys,
Huh?
so fun.
So none for tonight?
No, we have things we could talk about, but if you want to,
We didn't plan on it tonight, because I didn't post it.
you did,
Sarah?
I did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
work. I see it on the agenda.
you added
It's
it.
supposed to talk about 12 Bancroft too, apparently.
I rock. Oh, 12 Bancroft, yeah, I can play about that too. For now we can play.
12 Bancroft is the Coolidge School and all the money. So we had our list of improvements. It was the parking lot for the sledding hill and then some other general area improvements. But all of the money, the $100,000 that Civico committed will be used up with the parking lot and the bulkhead, the retaining wall to hold up the parking lot. So the planning board is sponsoring an application to the CPC to fund the remaining improvements. Because Civico is providing a plan, which is half the battle, we will have a plan and, pricing and everything. So the application, the letter of interest, letter of intent, whatever it is going to the CPC on by October 15th. And then the application process proceeds over the next few months. But Bill is the CPC person. But he doesn't care.
I'm our.
Representation, yes. Is that a good synopsis?
That was perfect.
Okay,
Yeah, so, I mean, the letter of intent is due next week, and then if the CPC says it's eligible, then they'll be asked for a formal application, which would be another
month.
6 weeks, month, whatever.
Okay.
And then the CPC will look through the application. If they have questions, they'll feed them back to the planning board through me, and then come January, they usually bring everybody in for a face-to-face to go over the details and talk it through, and then by February, they decide which projects they will recommend for funding.
PMOD updates? Do you want to do that?
Okay, so Bill and I have been working on the PMOD, but for real now.
And for the record, what is PMOD?
Oh, the Powder Mill Overlay District.
Bill Crenshaw.
Yes.
Right.
So we
Chainsaw.
had, yes, chainsaw. We had, sub-district A is our MBTA sub-district, so we're not touching that. But the remainder, A, B through E, we have been tinkering with the zoning language that, MAPC, Jesus, left us with and, altering it to suit what we think is appropriate for both the roadway corridor and the river. And we're still working on it, but we did come with several items that we could ask the group how you feel about. That's you.
Okay. That was it? That's not bad.
We'll just do one or two of them. We have a lot, but we'll just do one or two. Maybe not that
Okay.
first one. Let's not do that first one.
Not the first one?
That's kind of complicated.
Alright, we'll warm you up easy, so, one of the things is, parking related, and we're thinking, in order to incentivize people to do something along this corridor, yet provide benefits to the corridor. We would reduce the amount of parking required, and so we'd set a minimum number and also a maximum number, but our maximum number would be basically our current minimums. So just when they look at the site, they'll be like, oh yeah, well, I can fit all my parking and I don't have to ask for special permission. Of course, if they really wanted even less parking or even more parking, they could always come to us because we can always waive it. But that was just one of the things that we're trying to make it more attractive for developers to come through with a project that benefits the entire corridor rather than just them focusing on their one site. So I don't know, anybody have any thoughts on that?
Parking.
Seems like.
It's hard to park there anyway.
Yes.
No, I mean, I think it's, I like leaving parking amorphous.
I know,
And the only question I had was about, we were talking about is. Maybe it's a pipe dream, but I would really hope that over the next. For the future, that increasingly, there's just some element of mass transit that. Helps out, starting, of course, maybe like a shuttle or something like that, and just, I'm sure you guys are taking all that.
Yes,
And
Town shuttle.
yes,
that's so, we need that so bad.
yes, we do. Okay, great.
This is so exciting.
Train station.
So one other thing we've been kicking around, that would encourage development in benefits to the corridor is to play with the inclusionary zoning. And change it so that broad picture, it's not, wouldn't be the exact, but broad picture would be, you know, inclusionary zoning requires a certain number of affordable units at 80% of area median income. But we're thinking, well, you know what? We really need more affordable,
Units.
yeah, units that can be afforded for a lesser income. And so we're thinking like, well, we'd have a thing where if you were required to put in 2 affordable units at 80%, you could put in 1 at 50 or 60% of area median income. So it would be much more affordable to somebody. And, you know, that's a little bit against, you know, the town policy, because, you know, it might not work out to be exactly 10% or something, but we're so close to the 10% limit townwide anyway. It would be nice to start focusing on affordable units that people that really have affordable rents.
Yeah.
And it would also mean that somebody who's coming in for a small mixed use with, you know, a dozen or half dozen apartments above a commercial, you know, that change could make a difference to them. And they might save a few $100,000, that some of that could go to area-wide improvements as well. So that's one of the things we're kicking.
Sounds cool.
And yeah, just talking generally about the quality of the affordable unit, not just the number. Obviously, we need to pay attention to numbers, but at a certain point, 80% AMI is not actually affordable to most people. So if we start going into what our housing production plan points to, which is that we need to consider 60%, 40%.
Yeah.
30%.
Yeah, and they don't have to do it.
No, I mean, this is.
So making it the option is, that's pretty.
So we've experimented a lot with what our asks are gonna be. If you use the overlay district, you have to give us an easement in front for a wider sidewalk. You
Yeah.
have to give us maybe an easement in the back by the river so that someday we can have a river walk. Don't tell anyone I said that. You know, you have to have a pocket park or whatever it's gonna be, you know, all this stuff. So now we're looking at the other end too, to say, okay, what's your incentive?
And what would the incentive be of granting a homeowner some funds so they can build these affordable units if they have the property on the Powder Mill Road?
Some funds?
Well, just say grant.
Like an affordable housing trust.
Again,
grant.
affordable housing trust or.
Well, that's not a zoning thing, but. I mean,
No,
they can always go to the
but
affordable
the
housing trust.
incentive for someone who owns 10,000 square foot lot to probably possibly put up a, a 6 foot, six
so-
apartment unit.
Is this meant for, 'cause I know some of our potential zones or some districts would be in that more that single family residential, and then some are in those sort of across the street. So what are you talking about?
We currently are talking about D and E, which are on the riverside, well, both the road and the river. Between the Elks and the,
On the north side of.
not the residential, yes, not.
So where all the commercial properties are?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, up to John
So,
Deere.
so they're not talking about the single family.
Yeah, we're staying away from zone
But if
B
that-
and C, cause
But,
we're just, those are all residential, we're working on just all business.
okay, okay. Eventually, they're going to want to, upgrade the neighborhood. And the guy across the street says, well, if he's gonna do it, I'm gonna build it, a 10 foot, a four family unit.
Mhm,
And make one of them affordable.
mhm,
And then that guy next door do the same thing,
mhm.
so it's gonna be development.
Well, are we talking about the residential area now? Yeah, so we will get there. And that will be, we haven't really started talking about that yet, because mixed use. We're kind of focused on commercial and mixed use,
We're
right?
not gonna be able to bring it all to town meeting in May, but we can bring the business stuff to May.
So what they're talking about is not applicable to the single
Right now.
family.
Okay.
But we will
Yeah.
get there.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Do you think,
One of the commercial.
do you think there's a way?
That's all we're talking.
We talked about this briefly last year. But when you're talking about creating additional units, and we think in terms of units per acre typically,
Mhm.
right, or whatever. But we regulate commercial use by square footage. Is there, have you could, and I don't have the answer, but it was one of the original things I was thinking about with this quota. What if there was a zone, one of the zones regulated square footage of living space and allowed for the build to determine what was appropriate?
So like specifying the density,
Yeah,
by square
so
footage.
they can make smaller units.
like the DOD, like the density bonus kind of thing, but.
Yeah, but instead of, but with the DOD, we take a percentage. There's a minimum amount of the lot area.
Yeah.
That has to be provided per unit.
Yeah.
So if we said for argument, and just pick this number without thinking about it, but let's say we said, okay, you can develop, we have a formula that comes out to, you can develop 10,000 square feet of space on this lot and not say it's for 4 units or 5 units or whatever you wanna do, and let the market decide.
Well, you effectively do that with setbacks and.
You do, but you still limit by units, whereas if we limit it by square footage.
I'm not Sure. Well, one of the things we have to keep in mind is the whole premise of the PMOD, these business districts, they are not big ass residential stuff.
No.
They are neighborhoodly.
Yeah.
Mixed use.
Oh,
stuff.
absolutely, yeah.
That's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, but if you were creating smaller units and that were consequently more affordable.
Yeah.
Cause that's all, man.
Yeah, we don't wanna get in the way of that.
We haven't figured out how we're gonna
Yes.
talk about actual numbers, be it a certain amount allowed by right. Or
Yeah.
a density
Well,
specified.
cause that square foot of buildable or building might be useful, cause. Basing it on parcel size and setbacks and stuff is tough along the river,
Right.
cause some of these parcels
Changes
extend
so
into the
much.
river. And it's
Yeah.
meaningless. So
This
it's
could be
illustrative.
so cool.
Right,
If we could,
because
this is gonna be
buildable land
so,
is not the same as the parcel size.
Right.
Right?
And
Functionally.
functionally, the river also changes. We're struggling with the fact of, so you ask for an easement in front and it's on the road, cool, you get an 8 foot
Yeah.
easement, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to ask for anything on the back of the property, how do you define it?
It might not be there.
Cause it may not be there
Later.
in 10 years.
Or more of it might be there, who knows?
So we're,
yeah, this is
Yeah.
cool.
That's a little hard.
Well, if we're
Very
following the
cool.
climate prediction models, it should be wetter, which means that the river should go up, but there's also a dam. So that controls the elevation.
right,
Now, one thing that came from that discussion of, river edge and stuff is currently. the layout from MAPC, the zone has a
A,
business district all along the river. And then the 110 powder mill, the self-storage places
Mhm.
are the same business district.
D,
Yeah.
D.
But we're thinking because the powder mill parcel is not along the river and it's just a big square 10 acres. It might merit its own sub-district designation. So that might become sub F.
Mhm.
Cool.
Or D,
Very
D
exciting.
prime.
Yeah, keep running, nice, I like that, maybe that's
No,
better.
F.
Okay. But, so that's one thing that kicking around, cause it's very hard to think through options for the river edge and then a big old
It always,
interior parcel.
it always had a different identity
Yes.
than the property.
Well, also the zoning, what do we call it? The draft zoning given to us by MAPC was referring to properties, defining them as either, with a river, with access to the river, or access to powder mill. When in reality, D and E, which are the ones we're talking about now, are both, all of them are both.
Yeah.
So
Fair enough.
defining them that way wasn't as helpful as I had hoped, so I feel like I
So we
wanna
have,
make F.
we have Julia tweak the map.
And you know, 50 years from now, F or 20 years from now, F might,
Be part of A.
that might be considered something different.
Yeah.
Than the storage unit.
Very cool. This is gonna be dynamite.
I have two quick feedbacks.
Yeah.
One, on the first item of the consideration of smaller lesser AMI units. The housing production plan also calls for diversity in housing stock, so I would consider that potentially to be diversity in housing stock. Even if it, it doesn't, even if we might lose the total number for the project.
Yep.
But that diversity is important. So I think that, in that way, it applies to the housing production plan. I don't know what my second comment was.
I have one food for thought comment. The city of Watertown zoning has this built into it. As an incentive. And I can't recall exactly what you get more of when you do this. But if you have publicly available open space, there's like open space percentages, if you make X percent of it publicly available, you get some sort of. If you do this, you get more of that type thing. So I just,
They've got good
And-
language for me to look at?
yeah,
Okay,
it's
great.
the RMUD district in Watertown, from what I remember. But it was just an interesting. I worked on a project where, you provided a public path through the site basically, and it got them some additional density or something. It was just that sort of mechanism.
Is that along where the yacht club is?
So,
No, this is different.
so we trade public access for density.
I love. looking
Yeah,
at what other
yeah.
people have already done. Perfect.
So just interesting trade-off that I think could give you more incentive to have public access.
Well, my last thing on this is. Kind of a question to Bill, 'cause I'm still struggling with. The triggers of. When the overlay district would apply and when it wouldn't. Cause right now it seems to be written that if they choose the overlay district. Uses or size or whatever. It's a mandatory thing. But. I don't think it's a mandatory special permit. Is it supposed to be?
You're talking about an A?
No, anywhere in the overlay district,
Well,
if you choose the overlay district. Building use or whatever, or.
right, we're not talking the MBTA, we're talking the other.
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, okay, cause
Does
the
that
MBTA,
automatically require a special permit? Or?
if we
does
were
the special permit
originally,
only apply to special uses?
Our table.
yeah, I think that we originally patterned it after the DOD. Which required a special permit.
Which is, if you look at it, you need a special permit.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it needn't be, I don't.
But I don't think it's written that way, but how do we want it? I mean,
I would think. Let me chew on it.
cause our table of uses. Has like PMODE, well, did we make this? Did any of this come to, was there a table?
Yes.
Okay, so it has like special permit for certain uses.
Mhm.
But if we already have the special permit for everything, then. You know, it's either yes or no, right? Like PMODE, D. Nursing and convalescent home
Right,
needs a special permit.
right.
And it's a no and E, but if we need a special permit to. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe I'm tired.
Well, I'm trying to match. Just like in the DOD, right? You need a special permit, you need the 10-4 special permit, and then you need the DOD special permit criteria.
Right,
And we have PMOD criteria.
right.
Special permit criteria, but. It doesn't seem to apply to everything you could do under an overlay district.
I
If
see.
you do an allowed use
Yeah,
in the overlay district and you do it because you can build it higher and you have less parking.
yeah.
I'm not 100% sure that triggers a special permit. And I don't know if we want it to or not.
I see your point.
Can you chew on this?
Yeah.
Let's go.
All right,
So it's a good point.
that's a good one,
I
yeah.
remember. my
And just
last
remember the
comment.
comments, please, for Chris and Jeff, I'll get that in.
I remember my last comment. I like the concept of just looking at, is it D and E? And potentially bringing that to town meeting by itself. I think that's a good strategy.
Great. The residential will be just a whole different thing, maybe hopefully less complicated.
But it's also a different discussion. I want people to be able to know what they're voting on. And it's, like, not. I want people to know what they're voting.
Well, CBA is screwing around with everywhere in town.
Not really though,
Don't overlap it.
not really though.
Next. Any further feedback from these guys?
If you have any thoughts, just email them to this guy.
No, email them to Bill.
Okay, email them to Bill.
Me.
And then Bill passes.
I will make a motion to close or adjourn,
Adjourn the meeting.
to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second that.
All in favor to adjourn the meeting, please raise your hand. 5-0. Thanks, everybody.
Good meeting, thanks, guys. Hey, did Jim ever get his trophy?